So I'm a therapist that specializes in working with complex PTSD, and I guess a subcategory of specialty here would be working with dissociation and shame. And I kind of want to explain how these three are linked together. So I'm going to use visuals that I use when I do presentations around this. So the entry point of shame is misattunement. This is when our emotional and other needs are not noticed, are not reflected, are not met. So for example, let's say I'm a kid and I feel sadness and my caregiver meets that sadness with, knock it off, stop being such a baby. When this misattunement continues to happen in a pattern in relationship, especially if there's no repair work, then we can internalize the shame. So then I have a negative view of myself from the lens of others. So for example, I feel really shameful about my sadness. This constant pattern of misattunement and me internalizing that creates chronic shame. This chronic shame activates our internal defenses of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and collapse. So instead of feeling sad, I might get angry and defensive. Instead of feeling sad, I might frenzy clean. Instead of feeling sad, I might withdraw and isolate. Instead of feeling sad, I might hyper-focus on making sure you're happy. Instead of feeling sad, I might dissociate from the emotional or physical experience of that. All of these defense states create a certain level of dissociating from the emotional experience. And of course, collapse probably being more of the intense version of that disconnect. All of this dissociation creates a certain level of inner misattunement. So now I don't notice, validate, or know how to meet my emotional or other needs. So for example, if I'm in a sadness state, I don't know how to recognize it, validate it, or regulate myself through that emotional experience. And at this stage of the shame development, the inner misattunement just continues to feed into the shame, sometimes even long after the external misattunement is done. And I can talk a little bit about how I work with this if you're interested.